Hey everyone, how's it going? This is our August edition. We are trying something new tonight, so I am in the middle of getting our Facebook post made. Yes, this is streaming right now on the JMC Ministries Facebook. So if you go over to the ministry page and click on videos, there'll be a little button that says live. And for those of you who are on our friends list, you're going to be seeing a post directly from Facebook. Isn't that exciting, Miranda?
And we're also streaming simultaneously on YouTube, on Jeremy's YouTube channel at jmclive.com. So we've got multiple ways to now watch the show. We hope you enjoy it. I am Miranda Caverley. This is Jeremy Caverley. And this is JMC Live. Tonight we are going to be performing two songs. The first song is Jeremy and I performing You Said. It's a praise and worship song. And I am playing the bass guitar for the first time on this song. And then the next song is an original piano solo I wrote called Daylight Fades. And Jeremy plays the bass on it for the first time.
How exciting!
And then we will be talking, our topics tonight are Socialism, Violates all 10 Commandments. A news article recently came out, and it is attacking the Christian music industry, saying that it is not inclusive enough, diverse enough, and then we will be talking about how even when we are at our weakest and feel like we can't accomplish and we're going to fail and not be able to accomplish what God has called us to do or a certain task, He will send help in one way or another. And we'll be talking about Moses and reading in the book of Exodus on that. And there's a couple other things, but we're going to get to the music. We hope you enjoy being able to watch us on Facebook and on YouTube, and enjoy the show.
You said, asking you will receive whatever you need. You said, praying I'll hear from heaven and I'll heal your land. You said, glory will fill the earth like water the sea. You said, lift up your eyes, the harvest is here, the kingdom is near. Asking I'll give the nations to you. The cry of my heart, distant shores in the island will see your light as it rises on us. You said, asking you will receive whatever you need. Praying I'll hear from heaven and I'll heal your land. You said your glory will fill the earth like water the sea. You said, lift up your eyes, the harvest is here, the kingdom is near. Asking I'll give the nations to you, oh Lord. distant shores in the islands will see your light as it rises on us. Oh Lord, I ask for the nations. Oh Lord, I ask for the nations. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by to this edition of August JMC Live. The theme tonight is about God overcoming obstacles in someone's life. We're going to start with the Faith and Freedom Gary Randall Ministries, a post about socialism violates all 10 commandments. And both me and Miranda, actually I need to post this way so it looks correctly.
No, it's still, yeah.
Anyway, I'm posting right, but she's to my left, and that's how the camera's working. So, Vanna White, please turn the letter. Anyway, so, I'm going to read this. You can see part of the article in here. I'm going to read most of this article, and here we go. It says, all 24 Democrat presidential candidates continue to push some form of socialism. Perhaps it's time to contrast socialism with something more helpful and more permanent, like the 10 Commandments. Socialism violates every one of the 10. Be informed. One of the stories they talk about is about the Nike pulling the Betsy Ross flag from the market because people said it was offensive. Specifically, Collins said it was offensive. And he published an article this week, Robert Knight, for the Town Hall. So that's something else you can tune in and check too. We'll post a list for that. But with this story, as you see, it says a couple dozen Democrat presidential hopefuls are vying to see who is pinker. Really? Of the all words you could have chosen. Pinker, really? I mean, come on. Pink eye? What are we talking about here? Do we know? Wait, I gotta look at the fan to look at you, which is kind of awkward because I'm staring at a fan. But anyway, what's more helpful and permanent? The 10 Commandments. Socialism.
Are we doing the Brady Bunch thing right now?
I guess we're looking around. We're trying to figure this out. Socialism teaches that wealth should be held in the common ownership controlled by the state, and Democrats are pushing for government to confiscate more income and more power. That's a reoccurring theme that you hear. We need more taxes to pay off the debt instead of just not.
They're not even talking about debt.
Stop doing more things that cost more
That's the thing. They're not really even talking about that. They're saying the reason they want to raise taxes is because on the rich. They're not saying the poor people. They're saying the rich, because they say they don't pay their share.
You know what I think will help me with this? We need to print a picture of your face on the fan, so then I'm not staring at
Maybe
a
I
fan.
should switch the cameras next time. That'd be better.
It does. But anyway, yeah, that's probably what you should have done.
Shut up.
By contrast, the Bible it says the Bible teaches the
Next
God
thing you know,
owns all
Mrs.
things.
Brady's going to be above us. And
Owns all things.
Mr.
We're
Brady's going to be below us.
stewards of his creation. When we look at the Ten Commandments, we see they're directly odds to socialism. It says you should have no other gods before me. That's the Bible, right?
Socialism and communism means you basically just worship the government.
Read that section that's on the screen underneath that.
So, socialism and its offshoots, communism, fascism, democratic socialism, and national socialism, quote, Nazism, enshrine the state above all other powers. There is no room for God, which is why socialists are in a permanent war with the church and are bent on creating a faith-free society. That is what they do. That is, you serve them.
Yeah. So the next one, you shall make no idols. Read that one.
Idols are anything that takes the place of God in the hierarchy of values. Under socialism, sheer power over one's fellow man is an idol. Another is building utopias, the unicorns of government, because such perfect social societies do not exist.
Yeah. And I'll read the next one because this is rather long and it's actually cut off in the screenshot. So it says, you shall not take the name of your Lord, your God, in vain. You know, that's the God, you know, the word that describes what beavers do to stop a river from being able to cross, or what is done by man.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Or what man has done. Well, there's another verse where God uses that
or
second word.
What man has built to keep water from flowing.
But God has used that word separately, but not with his name in front of it.
Correct.
But anyway, it says when socialists take over a culture, it becomes depraved and perverse. To enforce their new immoral order, socialists openly blaspheme God and particularly Jesus Christ. Hollywood, which is famously leftless now, has taken this road since Christian review boards abandoned their role in the 1960s, opening up films to take on anything and to shock audiences. Miranda, what was the movie that just recently got canceled? What was it about?
Oh, are we talking about The Hunt?
The Hunt.
I think everybody's been seeing that in the news about. So, do you want me to elaborate on that? Okay.
Go ahead.
So, for those who have not been following the news, there was a movie that was made with Hilary Swank and some other actors, but Hilary Swank was the main one that I remember talking about. It's called The Hunt, but originally it was going to be called Red State, Blue State. The plot of this movie is that the blue Democrat elitists sign up to go and hunt red state conservatives and to kill them. That's the plot. And it's all about hunting people to kill them because they don't agree with their philosophy.
No, wait a minute. So we went from, we have, Old Yeller, and we have, a dog that dies. And as a kid, I cried about this, and I was told society freaked out because the dog died. To, in the 60s and 70s, we have shows that talk about cops. To eventually, you got stuff like Death Wish for people being raped and the cops fighting the bad people. So then, fast forward in the 90s and the 2000s, you have Saw, where you have this guy who's going around and, he's putting these elaborate traps to kill people and it's famous. So then we're going to The Purge and we have one night where everyone can die.
We
so
watched,
now it's
remember when we watched the first Purge movie when it came out, and I said, I can't watch this movie.
We could not watch this
This
movie.
is absolutely disgusting. We didn't even make it through the whole thing. But the plot of The Purge is the government of this country, it's supposed to be America, designates one night where anybody can commit any kind of crime and not face any repercussions of it. Correct. You can go and kill whoever you want.
Yeah.
And there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
When we saw this film, I said, this is only the beginning of they're going to make even worse than this. They're going to try to keep making worse.
And in other countries,
and they've made they've made two other Purge films, and now they've done The Hunt, and it's like, hello, people. And Holly wants to say, well, we need to confiscate, we need gun control and we need, to confiscate people's guns. I'm like, well, then why don't you take the first responsibility and stop making garbage like this?
Which goes to keeping the Sabbath day holy is the next one. It says Sundays are no different from any other day in socialist societies. In fact, people going to church on a Sunday are identified and often persecuted in places like communist China, where you look at ChinaAid.org and they're blowing up churches in China.
Nigeria, they're blowing up churches.
In Africa, they're destroying stuff. And I have people right here in America that are from these countries and they are denying this stuff happens. I can pull up articles and stories from these countries showing it's happening. He's like, well, it didn't happen when I was there. So people are turning a blind eye to this. It says Sunday is often identified and persecuted in places like communist China, where atheism is the official state religion. Or market-based society, materialism, which is a prefect of socialism, to push the Sabbath out. Next, honor your father and your mother. Socialism is at war with marriage and family since the French Revolution in 1789. Unlike America's revolutionary 1776, the Jacobins sought to wipe out Christianity and establish an all-encompassing government that supplanted the family. Frederick Engels and the co-author of Karl Marx of the Communist Manifesto, he wrote with the need to do away with marital fidelity, which means marriage
fidelity
doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. In other words, you can be a polygamist or you can just not be married at all. As what we say here in America, the community raises the child. It's the responsibility of everyone to raise a child. So we're already verbally going down this rabbit hole. He and Marx and other socialists correctly identified the family as a competing source of authority and a bulwark to the church, both stand in the way of collective regimes. Next, you shall not murder. Many people misread this commandment as a broader order not to kill for any reason, which denies the moral difference between taking an innocent human life and executing murderers. Now, I have to pause here. There are many times in the Bible you see God say, defend Israel, defend this area, build a wall, build a defense, walk 7 times around this facility, get the rock and put it in a sling and hit this guy in the head. God did not always say don't do anything at all. Which continues with this. It says socialists have long promoted abortion, the direct taking of innocent human life to liberate women and men from parental responsibilities. Next, you shall not commit adultery, which goes back to what I said earlier. In the 1960s, Americans have become familiar with the term free love. Socialists have been promoting it heavily since the early 1800s. Sex outside of marriage, prostitution, which right now there are members of the Democrat Party who want to legalize sex trafficking. They want to legalize prostitution across America. There are people who want to do that. They want to legalize more pornography and the abortion. Socialists deploy things like choice and sex work to cover the biblical morality of the issue. At the same point, it's like, well, if we don't regulate the sex workers, we're not going to be able to protect the sex workers. What happened to get the sex workers out of it in the first place? They've stopped. You shall not steal. Socialism is grand theft, as I have said. I am 39 years of age of this August 4th, the year 2019. How many years have I heard we need to tax the community more? I've been hearing this since I was 7. Now, math would say, how many times do you tax people till the tax is enough? I have asked this question on the whole liberal spectrum, from moderates to extremists, and not a single person will give me a physical answer. What is the percentage of tax that the American population should have to pay? And they won't say the highest number because there isn't one. They would tax 90% if they could do it. Some of them are logical when you say that phrase, and will say, okay, Jeremy, no, I don't want to tax you 90%, but, someone at a higher pay grade than you should have to pay more taxes. So here it is. Slavery is 100% taxation when someone else controls the fruits of one's labor. Socialist countries first control, then seize private property. Karl Marx says in the Communist Manifesto in one sentence, abolition of private property. Next, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. This is not just telling lies in a witness stand situation where you're in court and you're using lies to advance a well-being. Socialism is built on the mountain of lies about human nature, which is why they resort to violence and resort to anger and screaming and cussing and raving and shutting this broadcast off. Marx wrote, the ends justify the means, which that translates to you can do whatever you want as long as it gives to the resolution and the revolution of what they want. You shall not covet. Socialism's main engine is envy. It's about yourself. Stoking resentment against others who have more. Saying, well, you got too much, so you got to give me what you have because I'm not going to be able to attain to your level. And using violence to get there. In Genesis, Cain killed Abel out of envy for achieving God's favor. Envy was on display when Satan promised Adam and Eve, they defied God, you will be like God. You will be as God, as powerful as God, have as much as God, but you got to eat this. You got to do this first. And all the knowledge and the wisdom and the wealth will come upon you. Coveting divinity got Satan kicked out of heaven. And it's what he and the devils and the demons and minions and ideologies and things that are happening continue in various forms, which is pride, envy, and socialism. Of Satan, Jesus said, when he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. God originated life, natural marriage, and love, and gave us the 10 Commandments. It should not be a mystery of deceptive cake of socialism to be baked. You can't do it this way, because when you do it this way, you're running into a situation that is bad. Now, I have to pause and say, what is something good about socialism? Well, they talk pieces about, wanting to help with healthcare and wanting to help with the poor and wanting to help with the disabled. And there's some conversational pieces that are logical. I'm not going to deny that.
Right.
But when you start piling on the whole thing, it destroys the base of that first sentence. And it takes the power away of helping people. It goes from being a step up to a handout to not just being a handout to, well, this is as far as you're going to get because this is all we're going to give you because you can't make any more money, or, we're going to put you in this situation and you making more money, you can't get any other help and you can't do this, you can't go anywhere and you're going to be this way, you're going to see this, and it just destroys so much. And every country, in every sector of the world, this has been tried. There's been a Roman version of this. There's been a Genghis Khan version of this. There's been a Middle Eastern version of this, a Venezuela version of this, a Russian version of this. How many versions of this has to come and fall before we realize why are we doing this again, Miranda? Can you explain that? Why are we functioning like this? Why? Can you explain?
The thing that everybody talks about, the people that have lived under socialism, they say the only people that support socialism, and we've seen this, are people who have never had to live under it. Those who have lived under socialism or communism, they don't ever want to live under that again. But yet, those who have never lived under it, they think it's a great utopian society. Well, go. If you think it's so great, go live in Venezuela right now. Go live in China right now. Go. Please. North Korea. These and so many people say, well, they're just not doing it right. They didn't do it the right way. Socialism. Well, what is the right way? Because every time it's ever been done in the history of the world,
I think when they say that,
fails eventually.
When they say they didn't do it right, they're not talking about communism. They're not talking about socialism. They're not talking about Democrat socialism. They're talking about what their original beliefs are in their own party before it went that far. Mm-hmm.
But it always goes that far. The other thing why socialism doesn't work is because Margaret Thatcher, first female prime minister, she said socialism doesn't work because eventually you run out of other people's money. That I've always remembered that quote.
And let's say theoretically we have an emergency meeting that we're going to increase the taxes on the American people to pay off the debt. Both Republicans and Democrats have been trying to pay off debt, but we always spend more money on some piece of the 50,000 plus whatever it is pieces of the pie. So these 5 we're not going to spend anymore, but these 15 we keep spending too much. So then what happens in the end of the year? Well, you spent too much money, but we saved on these 5.
So, to wrap up this topic, the moral of the story is, I guess, this is the main tidbit we want to take away from
the little
this.
Irwin?
Don't start. And everybody's gonna be like, what the heck are you talking about?
What in the world are you talking about?
It's the little toe before your tiny toe. My sister calls it the little Irwin.
All right.
Because it's the little Irwin. It's not the little one, it's the little Irwin. Okay, so we got off topic there, but that's the funny thing.
I don't know who this person is.
So I guess as Christian, this is as Christians, this is what a socialist society is going to do. It attacks our beliefs. It attacks everything we stand for, more or less. And we need to know this. We need to know what socialism is, the root, because every idea has a moral compass, a belief system. This is the belief system of socialism.
Mm-hmm.
It completely attacks everything that we stand for, more or less. And we need to really pray for our country and pray that the right leader that God wants is led. We know they're not going to be perfect. They may not even be a Christian per se, but they need to stand for the Constitution, for the foundation that our country was built on. They need to uphold that. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they're not I don't care whether or not they're a Christian, but they need to stand for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and our laws.
Yeah.
And as a sovereign country.
Correct.
So that's the main thing that we need to take away from this, is what we're dealing with when we see all of these candidates get up, these 20 candidates up there, and every one of them is talking about we need socialize this, socialism that, communism, light this. We need to know what when they say we need all this stuff, what they're really meaning. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go to our next article.
All right.
Contemporary Christian music changed Nashville, but it's not without shortcomings. This is not a pro-Christian article, folks. This was written by the Tennessean, and this is a complete attack on the Christian music industry. Yeah. They say that Christian music is not inclusive enough, not diverse enough, and that it harms.
Take that first line right there. It says, the Christian music industry has brought jobs and prospered in Nashville, but like the wider evangelical movement, suffers with deep prejudices. So when you read through this article, and it takes a while to get to that section, it's actually past what's on the screen that we have. Because they unveiled Thursday this Kiona Coffee House, mm-hmm. and about it being Christian music, and there was a ceremony about that.
Michael W. Smith was there, and Amy Grant.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there. Yeah. I mean, lots of people there.
They say, well, this is what Christian music is doing, but then they put a big but on it. But they're racist, they're prejudiced, because they don't. It's Christian music. What do you think we're going to sing about?
Here's the paragraph that's right below that. Yeah. That's not screenshot. It says, but more profoundly, their path is one which has impacted, if not helped create, our current American evangelical Christian culture. A culture that is beginning to acknowledge its ugly heritage of religious harm in the form of racism, homophobia, colonization, patriarchy, and more, yet it struggles to break the yoke.
Because it's attacking us because we don't agree with other people's lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
We don't agree with it. We don't hate them, but they say we hate them. We're not racist against other races of people, but they say we're racist because we may not agree with, I guess, their other religion beliefs. I don't know.
And then it's really sad. There's another section here. It says, right now there are plenty of faith rebels out there shaping the future of religious culture. Some are queer, cuss, drink, and have sex. No different really than from the generations before, just less apologetic about ruffling feathers. Some of them know the Bible and Christian history better than the pastors, even if they have one. It goes on to say they are fiercely woke. Now, you've heard this phrase woke somewhere else. When I say the next two words, you'll know where this is coming from. And they're deadly serious about social justice.
So there's the
as seen through the lens
again.
Of Jesus. So again, when you look at other countries where socialism has taken over, they take over the churches. They take over the leadership. They take over the media. They take over everything. And those are the phrases that are continually repeated till the Bible doesn't matter because it's hate. It's not love. And then they use examples.
And this article is saying, and this article is supporting socialism, social justice, to attack. They're saying basically you need to attack Christian music. You need to attack Christians who are musicians, because if you're not supporting, you're not being the radical Christians who say you can drink and have sex and do whatever you want and sleep around with whoever you want. Then if we're not like those radical quote Christians, I say church people, then we're racist, homophobe, prejudiced. We don't need to be around.
Alex Marashko is in the chat. Alex Marashko, our good friend who worked on the Christian Post and now is working with a bunch of other things out there in L.A. Hello, Alex Marashko. Yo, 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 my good home slice. But yeah, the point of the matter is, for this situation and with where this is going, is it's not going to stop at a topic of homosexuality. It's going to be me saying cussing is a sin. And there's still verses out there in the secular realm. They're saying, well, no, you are a smart person when you go and cuss. So it's there are articles that are saying there's already things going on out there, and they're just like Christians plant seeds. Those that aren't Christians plant seeds. Both the devil and Jesus use some of the same tools, which are planting seeds. It depends on the spiritual root behind the seed. We know people are not perfect, and we know people say things that they regret, and we have said things that we shouldn't have, and we regret. But we acknowledge we said those things. We ask forgiveness, from the person we said it to, and from God. But these quote radical Christians say you don't have to ask forgiveness for any of that, because that's not wrong. You can do whatever you want, because God is love. He loves us all. We don't have to, we can just do whatever we want because He loves us. Yes. So yes, He loves us, but He doesn't love the sin that we commit. And that's what separates us. And see, that's the other thing. So then, while we are doing this, we're going to do something wrong at some point. Either in our relationship or relationship with someone else. And then that automatically becomes well, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. You didn't change and do this. And then that's the tactic they'll go. Mm-hmm. Because we're saying, come as you are. Let Jesus cleanse you of this stuff. We can't change you. And honestly, and I've done shows about this, I've said Christians have to stop having a negative mindset. But they're leaving all that out now. They're saying, come as you are. Yeah. And don't change. Come as you are, have some coffee and beer, and leave. That's what some places say. So, like I've said in other situations,
we've forgotten the other steps.
Yeah, we forgot the other stuff. So what I've said on other programs that we've done, I said Christians have to change their mindset. Now, you might be angry because somebody cussed or somebody did something wrong, but you have to think like Jesus in your actions when you're around them, because they still need to get saved. They still need to repent. They still need to change. And that's the hardest piece for Christians, because when this goes on, they're looking for your weak points on what's going to make you angry, what's going to make you frustrated, what's going to make you not be able to do what needs to be done. And you can't focus into situations where you can't move in the Spirit of God. And that's what goes on. The Spirit of God gets slapped out of the way when your flesh takes over and you're in a bickering argument. And you're frustrated and you can't move any further. You're like, I can't do this anymore. And you have to pray and you have to fast. You have to read your Bible. You have to talk to other Christians. This is a war going on. A war in your mind. And psychologists and psychiatrists and sociology and Christian leadership will tell you the same thing. Right now, someone will take what I just said, there's a war going on, and they're going to blast it out somewhere on social media or on a news post and say, Jeremy thinks there's a war against Christians in America. And then there'll be a panel of 5 or 8 people saying, well, is there? And they'll all say, no, he's just lost his mind.
There's people who have said what you said, and that's what happened. You know, they were attacked because they said, well, there's no war on Christianity. But there has been from day one.
And I mean, okay, I get it. There's not someone coming to my house with a gun wanting to kill me in America.
No,
but it's a spiritual war. It's a war with yourself. Like you have a job and you do something wrong and you have to get correction for it. Or you want to advance your career. You have to do something else to change. So let's go to our next topic. Where is this all going? So this is our main topic for the night. And we're going to slow down and pause while you get out your Bible to Exodus chapter 17. Because this is something that you struggle with when you're a child, when you're a teenager, when you're in college, when you date, when you get married, you have your first child, you're taking care of your family, someone passes away, you lose a job. Miranda, you got any other examples of something that happens in life?
So many chronic illness.
Chronic illness. What else?
There's so many times
you fill in the blank
that we become too weak
to
accomplish on our own the task that has been laid before us.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as, I can't finish my math homework right now because I've been up all night. It could be as simple as, I'm so distracted I can't finish this bottle of water. And it's sitting over there and I've been outside in the heat and I'm sunburnt. Somebody needs to say, Jeremy, you might need to drink some water. We don't do everything by ourselves. So if you're in a band, you have a whole band that marches on a field and you create an image. One of you is a spot over here, and another you is a spot over there. And here in Ohio, there's a grand person that gets to be the dot of the I, right? It's a big thing, right, here in Ohio, for Ohio State. But you spell the word Ohio as a team. For a football player, I played defense. I was the nose guard. My job was to tackle the quarterback.
When you were a kid?
When I was a kid. If I didn't have the 2 linemen beside me break the mold together, I wouldn't get to the quarterback. Couldn't do everything on your own. Somebody has to throw the ball to another player. Now, of course, in baseball, you'll hit that ball and you have to run. But these are examples of life. And I'm hoping you're at Exodus chapter 17 so that I can explain what's about to go on here. This is a verse in the Bible where you have to focus on the bigger picture at hand. This is where Moses is leading a pretty much a battle is going on. And in this situation, everyone was familiar with Moses and some people call it his staff, his rod. And I'm going to just read this whole situation, and I want you to keep in mind, have you ever been weak and needed help? So Exodus chapter 17, verses 8 through 16. It says, the Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Redavin. Moses said to Joshua, choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Amalekites. I always get this word messed up.
You're okay.
Tomorrow I will stand up on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands. So here we see the plan. God has already talked to Moses. God has already told Joshua what to do with the team. And God's going to do his piece with Moses with the staff. And then the team's going to go out and do this. Now pay attention real carefully. Verse 10. So Joshua fought the Amalekites. Amalekites. Why do I say it wrong? Amalekites. Amalekites. Oh my goodness.
It's like when you try to say Massachusetts. It's all right.
As Moses has ordered. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur. This is an example. I can't say that word. So next time, I'm going to let Miranda say the word.
Yay!
Okay? All right? This is going to be an example.
Okay.
Real time. I'm struggling with the word. I need help.
That's all right.
Moses and Aaron and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, okay? The Israelites were winning. He's not just holding his hands in the air. He's holding the staff in his hand.
Yeah.
Okay? He's holding his staff in his hand. But whenever he lowered his hands, the
Amalekites
were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took... No, not yet.
Oh, sorry.
They took a...
You paused.
They took... No, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side and one on the other, so that his hands could remain steady.
I was going to say, am I supposed to say the word again?
No.
Oh, sorry.
So, wait a minute, I lost my place. So Joshua, that's the next line, overcame the
Amalekites
army with his sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, read that.
Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven.
Verse 15, Moses built an altar and called it, the Lord is my banner. He said, because hands were lifted up against the throne of the Lord will be at war against the, Miranda?
Amalekites.
From generation to generation. Now I got some other verses to discuss with you as well.
I'm sorry, that was just...
Yeah.
I thought you were... I thought the pause was... I was supposed to say it, sorry.
No, I'm going to tell you when to say it.
Okay.
Again, this is a team effort. That's a good example. I deliberately said the word wrong, so that
no, you did not.
Yeah. I said it wrong, so you can
don't fib. Don't fib.
I'm not fibbing.
Yes, you
No. Not the first one I messed up, but then after that I deliberately messed up, so then you'd have to help me. As an analogy of needing someone to help you.
Well, the next time you have to say Massachusetts, I'll say it for you.
I can't say that either. And there's a few words that make me come out with my East Texas slang. Like dedication.
So anyway.
So I have a few more verses here. Keep in the mindset that there are times that you can't do everything on your own. Now imagine Moses, for the most part, was told to go up to the mountaintop and get the 10 Commandments. He was told to do so many different things.
But the point in this whole story is, even when God knows you can't accomplish the task that he has set before you, he will either miraculously have you accomplish it still, or he will send others to help you.
Yes.
Other people to help you accomplish it.
Yes.
But if it's his will, it will be accomplished through you, one way or another.
Yes. So, we're going to look at Psalm 37. I won't need assistance reading this. Psalm 37.
That's good.
Psalm 37, verses 23 and 24. It says, the steps of a man or woman are established by the Lord. When he delights in his way, though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. 2 Chronicles 15:7. But you take courage. Do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Philippians 1, verse 6. And I'm sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will begin to bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 4:13. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. So again, whether it's fighting the socialism movement, or it's sharing your testimony, or having somebody who struggles with sin, or somebody who needs help in regards to getting saved, or something else in your life, there's always someone that God brings to your life. I'll give you another example. When I ended up homeless, I started to walk to find work, which led me to Lufkin Mall in Lufkin, Texas. And I was aware of the gentleman that was working a kiosk. He had a radio station. And I started to have a dialogue with him. In this situation, in this point of my life, 19 years ago, I couldn't communicate for nothing. I had long hair to about here, the Brad Pitt split down the middle, and I grew out a goatee because people thought I just looked too young. And this man became my advocate, Billy Baldwin. He became my spokesperson as I was trying to find work, as I was trying to raise money to go to South Africa, as I was trying to raise money to go to the Honor Academy. He was my spokesperson. When I would meet people, I would speak some, but he would speak the most. And this story was an example brought to me when I was at Gloria Russell's Children's Ministry with Debbie Reed and Billy Baldwin, and we discussed this story in detail and said there are times in your life where you're not able to communicate. And I said, well, everyone else my age can communicate better. They said, well, that's not you. You don't need to worry about someone else. This is what God wants to do. And God's going to give you the Moses and Aaron and the different people in your life. And these seasons do change in your life. And there's different things that you'll struggle with. But God will provide a way to help you and guide you. Now, I want to discuss something that has happened on the ministry page. And I have some statistics to share with you. Now, Miranda, you go ahead and change the screen. This was posted on the 20th of July.
It was. I didn't write this, but I found this, and I thought it was so profound, and I was like, oh, I have to share this. Mm-hmm. And I shared this on our ministry Facebook page, and in a month?
A month. Not even a month.
But it says people reached 45,772. That was when we did this screenshot a couple weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
This post has been shared, viewed, commented, blown up even more. It has really affected people, and people are just like, this is so true. This is so profound. I need to share this. So I'm going to let Jeremy tell you.
And I'll probably post the screenshot of the stats right now versus the stats that you're looking at right now. So I looked at this about an hour ago. And you can keep that up there. It says 55,463 people reached. Now, we did not pay for any ads.
No,
okay?
We did not. No.
There are 766 shares. There are 7,590 engagements. There are 6,041 reaction, comment, and shares. 3,171 likes on 3,149 shares. 1,374 loves on 1,346. 1,549 post clicks. 317 photo views and 1,231 other clicks as well.
And
with
it
only
is
4
just-
negative people comment.
And it is just 2 sentences. There is no grandiose image. It's just a gray background with white lettering. 2 sentences. Death was proof that Jesus was human. Resurrection was proof that he is God.
And this is the example about what I just talked about as well. Without the power of social media, me posting this on my page does not matter.
Right.
Because if this was a regular website, you could go to the website and we could have statistics about that. But this shows that other people were interested in the information.
It affected
This shows
them.
that other people shared it.
We didn't have to buy an ad from Facebook, pay Facebook to get people to see it. People saw it and they's like, I think I want to share this. So one person shared it, then another person shared it, then another person shared it, then another person shared it, and it just has snowballed. And even today, people are still sharing this post from our page, and it is a blessing. This just shows if we can't share the gospel just on our own. We have to work as a team, as the church, as the church. We need to work as a team to get the message of Jesus Christ out there.
And that's what our ministry mission statement is. You see it right below. It says, working together to fulfill the Great Commission. I'm not going to have all of the communication myself. It's a team effort. This is across denominational boundaries. This is across church to church boundaries. This is across those that are actually ordained and those that are not ordained. This is across those that aren't even looking at being laid ordained or ordained. We're talking about just a person who sees this, can share this information. You don't have to have everything worked out in your ministry career yet. You can just be a person that volunteers and watches something and shares something and wants to share that message. That's what this is about. Empowering the church. That's what JMC Ministries is about. And that post explains that in full detail.
It does. And those 2 sentences, so profound. When we just started seeing share after share after share and comment after comment. I'm like, Jer, I think we need to talk about this on the show.
Yes.
This post is like going crazy, and we didn't even pay for an ad. This is legit, honest shares and views without asking Facebook or paying Facebook to do anything. This is God. This is a God moment on social media, and a positive one. And with all the negativity in this world, that's so profound. It's so profound. Those 2 sentences. Death was proof that Jesus was human. Resurrection was proof that he is God. Notice it says is God. It doesn't say was. He is. He was human, but he is God. And that's so important. And that's really how we wanted to end the show. Just because, like Jer said, we can't always do it on our own. Without the help of others, the message can't always get where it needs to go. Or whatever tasks we've been given by the Lord can't always get done without the help of others. And so we want to thank all of our fans on Facebook for just blowing that post up. And you guys are awesome, and we thank you for that. So, we are going to make a really awesome announcement right now.
It is announcement time.
And the younger generation is really going to like this, but we've already been told there are some older people who are excited about this too. I think because they've never watched one of these events that we're going to put on. So, with saying that, we are going to go over here. And we are announcing we are doing a gaming marathon to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Why are we supporting the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation? Because I have Crohn's disease. And this is a way to give back, to support the foundation that is inevitably, can help me and help so many other friends that I know, and millions. I always say I am just one of 1.5 million who have this disease and is fighting for our lives every day. The gaming marathon, as you can see on the screen, says Friday, September 20th, 2019. We will be doing a 10-hour gaming marathon. So we're starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will go from 12 p.m. until 10 p.m. And we are going to play retro games. We've got a retro NES. We're going to play... I am playing Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Brothers 3, and Kirby's Epic Yarn. And the reason playing Kirby's Epic Yarn is because it's all about yarn and wool, and it's a way to also talk about the Smitten Mitten Expedition. And we will be streaming here on Facebook, on our JMC Ministries page, and at jmclive.com on the YouTube channel simultaneously. So, here is our plan.
We have a plan?
We have a plan. We did a gaming marathon about 5 years ago.
Yes.
And it went really well. We did it to raise money for Children's Miracle Network Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Did really good. And so we've been, but with my health over the past 5 years, I've just been way too sick. And then when we moved here to Columbus a year ago, we said, okay, we need to do a gaming marathon. We need to get thinking about, doing this. So we picked the charity we already knew. We were going to do the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's Colitis Foundation has their website. You can make a profile, and then on your profile you can create a fundraiser. So we are going to be making our fundraiser page where everybody will go to donate. When we start the marathon, we'll have like on the screen right here, like similar to what you're looking at here, but where it says JMC Ministries, it'll say like where to go and donate. And then we're going to have 3 prizes. So for every $20 that you donate, you will be in a drawing to win a certain prize. For every $50 you will donate, you'll be in a drawing for a prize. And then for every $100 that is donated, you'll be in a drawing for a prize. Right now we're going to put the goal at $500 because we just don't know who may show up, or don't know how this is going to go. We're just going to say $500 is our goal. If we go over that, that's absolutely awesome. I hope we go over the goal. But we will be posting all of this tomorrow. We'll have our fundraiser page up and running. So if you want to donate early, you can donate early. But at the end of the fundraiser at 10 o'clock is when we'll do the drawing for all the prizes. Whoever's donated will put your name in a hat. And, every time you donate, your name will go in the hat, for the $20 prize or the $50 prize or the $100 prize. So we're hoping, this is not about us per se. It is about raising awareness about the disease I fight and millions of others fight daily. You may see on the TV about Entyvio and Humira and how, 80% of all people that take it, they don't have Crohn's anymore, or they see, symptoms drastically reduced. Well, I've been on all of that, and every one of those meds nearly killed me. I literally have nothing left to try, and you'll learn more about Crohn's disease. Every hour we'll share a fact about Crohn's that you may not know about. And then also, we're going to share about some famous people that you may not know had Crohn's or have Crohn's right now. And I'm also hoping maybe we can get some statements from some of my friends. Like, okay, what would you like people to know about what it's like to have Crohn's? And then we can read those on air during the marathon. So I only shared about what I'm playing. Jeremy's going to play, you said Castlevania, and what other game?
Probably Double Dragon 2 and a surprise.
Okay. So we're hoping I can stick it out for 10 hours.
If not, then I'm doing it.
Then he's going to do a lot of gaming, and I'm going to just run the chats and stuff like that.
I'm going to go 24 hours on it.
But this is, but we want to make a difference and raise awareness about this disease that I'm going to fight for the rest of my life. And unless the Lord heals me miraculously. So with that, Jeremy, I will turn it over to you to finish up.
Okay.
Well,
final thoughts. JMC Live, August 2019. How many times have you felt that you were too weak to go on? How many times were you not able to accomplish something? And the answer was always there in front of you. Ask for help. That's what the challenge is for you today. I want you to have think about your situations you go through today. Who do you need to ask help from? That's what I challenge you to do today. To simply say, I need help. God bless.